if you guys weren't here yesterday, I played from Diamond 8, I think, to like Diamond 2 was the peak of Mech Rogue yesterday. And I played Mech Rogue because I have a video coming out on the main channel that I think is going to be really interesting to basically showcase what Hearthstone has become. But this morning, like, I didn't get Legend yesterday. I ended at like Diamond 3 or something. But this morning I was like, you know what? I'm just going to get Legend off stream because today I wanted to play Yu-Gi-Oh! And your boy basically went undefeated to Legend using this priest deck. If anyone wants, I'll just show it on screen. In fact, I don't even know why ETC is in the deck. I basically put it in for Steam Cleaner, but like I just put the Jailer in for fun. And it made me realize that Hearthstone right now is kind of insane. Okay, Hearthstone right now is absolutely nuts in the fact that like it's a really fast-paced game right now. It almost felt like every single game as a control priest, if I didn't answer my opponent's board, I was dead on sight. Like I was literally dead on sight. It's actually kind of crazy what Hearthstone's become, because most of the time with aggro, if you don't die immediately and you take a couple turns, you basically can live to like 4 or 5. But if you're going against Mech Rogue, any of the following, you basically, if you don't clear their board turn 2, turn 3, turn 4, or you don't have an answer for the following, you just lose the game. Okay, Secret Hunter's the same thing. If you can't answer their board every single game, you just lose the game. It's actually kind of mental. Totem Shaman, not as much. Didn't go against a ton of Treantrid. Obviously, this is from bronze through gold. I guess I'll just show the gold like thing. But it's absolutely kind of crazy. Like it honestly absolutely kind of crazy. So I thought I'd take a moment to say like how I feel about the overall game state right now. Chat, I don't know about you guys, but as someone who's played Hearthstone since closed beta, I kind of miss the game being a little slower. I could see people liking this type of format because it felt like games were fun. They're fast paced. It felt like my heart was racing every single game. But like, I kind of miss when every single game was it just like, I'm going to die if I don't clear this minion. Like it feels crazy. It's almost like every single deck, at least for aggro, is kind of like Undertaker Hunter from back in the day. If you played that, Undertaker Hunter was, if you haven't played it at all, if you're not like a hard boomer like me, it was this card. And Undertaker was interesting because if you didn't clear the board literally to like turn 1 and they had it, the game was over. Like you might as well just concede. And that's what it feels like right now, which is kind of crazy. That being said, chat, Control Priest is actually kind of reminding me of older Hearthstone because it's a legitimate control deck. I'm not a priest player. Listen, I'm not advocating for priest here. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted today. But I legitimately felt like this was the most fun I've had in Hearthstone this expansion. Every single game, it was like, okay, how do I answer my opponent's board? What cards can I use? What cards can I not use? What cards can I have to mulligan for? It felt really, really good. And to be fair, I think this card is uber broken. Like this card is giga nutty. I don't know how this card hasn't been nerfed already, dude. I couldn't even explain how this card hasn't been nerfed yet. It should be 2 mana. But I mean, I'm not the designers. I'm not the designers. It is what it is. But it felt really good. And I went against like Blood DK once and I rolled them. I went against Relic Demon Hunter a couple times and I absolutely rolled them with this deck. But I want to show you guys the last match. I want to show you guys the last match before I even continue talking about this. Look at this. Look at this, chat. Watch this. Look at the ending here. Look at this final turn. First and foremost, look at this matchup. I'm going against Sif Mage. I'm at 45 health, and this guy has no cards left. I am chilling, dude. And then I did this. This is how the game ended. Easiest win of my life. So I was like, oh, I top deck a Dirty Rat. I might as well just play it. Imagine fatiguing your whole board, like your whole deck, and you just lose off a Dirty Rat top deck, dude. That's tough. That's tough. And here's the live Photoshop in case you guys are curious. Hurry up, Rare. You're taking too long. Bing. Bing. I don't know what the hell that was. Easy legend player. Easy legend player. So what do you guys think of the Hearthstone expansion so far? Like, I don't know if they're gonna nerf something, chat, because the more I play with it, the more I realize that everything is kind of broken. So what is the point of nerfing something if everything's broken? Honestly, I think I'd rather see buffs at this point than nerfs. I think like it's kind of actually insane how crazy the game feels right now. It feels like a lot of things are viable, but at the same time, like you're about to die every single second. So you have to really be patient and understand that like there's no greed in this metagame anymore. Like it's just, you're in the sauce, bro. You're in. It's absolutely crazy. Festival of Legends, everything is so strong. Well, so it's interesting because Festival of Legends is a very like it didn't really bring a lot of power, right? That was one of the issues with the expansion, is just if you go through, there isn't a ton of cards that make you go like, wow, that card's really, really strong, and that card is really, really interesting, etc., etc. But now if you go through Titans, dude, there's so many cards in this expansion that just amplified already pre-existing decks that made them go from like 5 out of 10 decks to like 10 out of 10 decks. It's crazy, dude. I'm not so sure about Plague Death Knight. Honestly, it feels very weak. Plague Death Knight feels like it's not super, super good. I definitely think it's missing some kind of win condition. Demon Hunter feels really good, but I think Demon Hunter is good not because of newer stuff necessarily, but basically this card and this card. Demon Hunter just got better because Relic Demon Hunter is a deck, and that's just really, really good. Druid feels fantastic. Dude, every time I go against Druid, it feels so great, but against Priest, it's like a free win, if I'm going to be real with you. Hunter feels really, really strong. I wouldn't really change anything about Hunter. Maybe this card should be changed slightly just because of the interaction it has with the dormant minions. It feels kind of weird that like it gets the buff if you summon a dormant minion. I'm not sure if that's intended or not. And then Mage feels really good. I think this card's still broken. I'd be very surprised if this card doesn't end up getting some kind of change. I don't know how they nerf it. If they nerf it to 7 mana, the deck gets significantly worse, but maybe that's going to be the case. I don't know if they need to necessarily. Again, I feel like it wasn't broken when I was playing it. Paladin feels weak. I think they need to buff it somehow. I think maybe if they make this card 5 mana and nerf the stats slightly, it could be a little bit good. But I didn't play any Paladin, and I barely saw it. Priest feels really good. I think Priest is broken. This card's giga broken. I would be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if they decided to nerf this card slightly. If I was going to nerf any cards for Priest, I would nerf Shard though, because Shard's broken. Rogue is like purely mech Rogue. I wonder what happens if you nerf the mech package, because if you nerf the mech package, Rogue feels like it has kind of nothing. Oh, this is what I would change in Rogue 100%. These things, the things that you summon, is it always the mech taunt? Is I would change it so you can't get stealth. I think Wind Fury's fine, but I think that stealth as a mechanic in a randomly generated scrap bot kind of thing is just unfun. It's something that like your opponent can't really stop unless they have exactly an AoE. It should not just be stealth. I think you should not be able to generate it. I don't know why if they're gonna nerf anything for Rogue, I would just nerf the stealth mechanic. I think it's just really, really unfortunate. It isn't fun. I think other than Rogue, everything's fine. This card base seemed very, very good, but I think like generally speaking, it's not broken, because this card is like almost like a win more card, but it amplifies how good it is if you have stealth, which is why I think it's insane. Shaman feels really broken at the moment. I think if anything gets nerfed and Shaman doesn't, this will be the best deck in the game, but we'll have to wait and see. Warlock, I think, is just an abomination of a class right now. I hate what it's become. I have no nerfs realistically, other than maybe put this to 4 mana, just so it's not as awkward, or just so it's not as unfun. But I think realistically, the biggest change that has to be done to the Warlock class is just slime. Like I think this card needs to be nerfed, or they change Thaddeus from not being an undead, or they make it so like discard a random undead because that doesn't even solve the problem. I was gonna say like discard a random undead that costs 9 or less, but yeah, I think this card definitely needs to be changed. Warrior, I think, actually needs some buffs here, chat. I don't know how they fix Warrior, but I think the 3 things I would do for the Warrior class is make Bladestorm cost 2 mana. This card kind of sucks at 3 mana. I would make it cost 2, just so there's a little bit more for Warrior to actually stand their ground. Because the problem with Warrior is Warrior doesn't really have great answers, because everything is based on armor, but they don't have a way to generate a ton of armor and removal early enough where they can actually stay competitive with the rest of the decks. So I think that would be a good thing. I could see Brawl going to 4. I don't know if Brawl needs to go to 4. I just didn't see a single Warrior on my way up, which is very unfortunate. I thought Warrior would be slightly better because of the Steam Guardian, but I think the metagame is just so fast paced that you just don't have the opportunity to even play the game. So I think if things get nerfed, Warrior might actually be good because then you're not just dying immediately. But they need maybe make Brawl 4 mana, but I don't know. I don't know if that's the case. I think maybe if they really want to, they can make this card cost 7 for the time being, and then if they do like a huge mass nerfs, they could probably put it back up to 8. But it's a weird game. It's a weird game right now. I think Warriors definitely. I think what they should do if they want to keep the meta game around this power level is just buff things. Don't nerf anything. Keep it the way it is and see how the meta game develops. Because if they nerf something, something's going to be broken, and then we go down this like perpetual cycle of just something's broken and then they're gonna have to nerf that and then whatever. Anyways, that's my overall opinion on Hearthstone from what I played for the past couple of days. Is this as bad as Stormwind? No, it's not even that bad. It's kind of fun. It's fun in a different way. It's just very, very fast paced. It feels like every single class is just absolute ape shit besides Warrior. So if everything's broken, is nothing broken? That's the final word basically on this philosophy. And I feel like buffing cards would be better than nerfing, and give Warrior some better stuff. Give Warrior some better stuff.